McCarthy Auto Group is one of the largest auto groups in Kansas City, let alone the Midwest. It operates a total of 10 dealerships throughout the region. Whether you're looking for a quality used car in Blue Springs, Missouri, or a new car dealer in Overland Park, Kansas, McCarthy helps you cross each T and dot each I. And our commitment goes beyond the dealership. We continue to impact the lives of young student athletes in our area to propel them into their futures. And we are proud to partner with Preps KC and present the McCarthy Elite Team.
Are you elite? When the game is on the line, you make that big tackle, break the long run, throw that block, make that kick. Are you the best of the best in KC? Well, starting this season, a new standard will be set. The most exclusive postseason honor in Kansas City high school football. The Preps KC McCarthy Elite Team. Only 28 players will earn this distinction, from quarterback to kicker, defensive lineman to returner. It's not about the stars next to your name. It's about what you do on the field. Will you become part of the elite? The Preps KC McCarthy Elite Team.
We've been talking about this all year long. And this is the time we want to talk about it during the radio show. The elite of the elite, only 28 players. No second team, no honorable mention, one quarterback, one kicker. This is the best team that is in the city. And it's not about the stars next to your name. It's about what you do on the field. And each week we take a few minutes during the radio show. And we also break this out with a story and a video on the site. We talk about those groups, and we have now we've gone through every position group except for the specialists. And we're joined by Cole Young. And Cole, this is one of those that when we talked about doing this in the offseason, there's long talk about kickers and that kind of thing. But, there's highly rated long snappers out there too, and return guys. So we were able to find some pretty decent list of guys that we've got here this year. And let's just start with the kickers, because kicking is as good in the Metro as it's ever been. And we've got some elite guys, especially when you look at like University of Missouri, Blake Craig, former Liberty North guy, kicking for them. When you look at this list, there's some good guys with some big time credentials on here.
Yeah, there is a couple. The two that jump out to me just looking at it, one is Blue Renfro from Liberty North, right? I mean, he's week one had the game-winning field goal against Blue Springs South. Last week had a game-winning field goal against Rockhurst. I really don't care, where you're at, any age, kicking a game-winning field goal, there's some nerve, there's some guts. And I think, Coach Learman has all the faith in the world in him, just rolling him out. The other one that really jumps out to me is Trace Rudd at Blue Valley Northwest. He's only a junior, but, I kind of did we do a little more research on specialists than just looking at a list for some others. And so I reached out to a couple guys across the Midwest who really are into the kicking and punting world. And he was the first guy mentioned by them as like, this guy is on the national scale of kickers. So it'll be interesting to see if he can do, what the guy from Park Hill South did last year, what Blake Craig's done, kind of where does he go? Yeah.
And there's like Will Aaron from Aaron, I think, or Aaron, as they say, name from Blue Springs. He's a guy it was an inter squad. I think it was either 59 or 60 yarder in the inter squad. So, I mean, you got some guys that can do that kind of stuff. And the other thing about the kickers is, and this is the stat that I love, touchbacks. Mm-hmm. It's such a huge weapon in high school. And you've got guys like Renfro and some of those guys who've got like 20, 15, 20 touchbacks. And that's a game changer that's a weapon. You become a weapon in that sense.
It really is. And we'll get to this when we talk about the returners. But if you look at some of these guys' average return yards, they're in the 30, 35 yards on a return. If you're just able to say, hey, you know what, you take it on the 20 every time, that's worth a lot. Yeah, no, it's 15 yards of field position right there. I mean, it's a huge thing. And like I said, we got some different ones. Diego Perez at Oak Grove was one I looked up, and he's got a lot of touchbacks. The Svoboda kid at Blue Valley West got hurt last week. They didn't even know if he was going to be able to kick the extra point to win the game. And he came out and did it. And he's a big weapon for them. The Aiden Stanley kid, you talk to people at Mill Valley, they'd put him up against anybody. And part of it is just, as we go into the playoffs over the next couple of weeks, I heard a long time somebody said, if you know that you can get 7 every time and it's not going to be 6 or maybe 7 or having to chase points, just knowing you got 7 every time you go out there, that's worth a lot. Yeah. So, I mean, those are guys, and it's funny that places seem to have kickers. Liberty North seems to always have kickers. Mill Valley always has a kicker. Oak Grove, with their soccer program the last few years, has had a kicker. Lafayette County has had a kicker for like the last 8 years. That's a town that doesn't even have soccer.
but they've got kids who can kick, and so that's a group there. Move on to the punters. A lot of these guys are dual guys. I mean, Blue Renfro might be the best punter in the Metro. Xander Colt, the kid from Oak Park, of course, Perez punts too. The Huffman kid from Park Hill South. I mean, so some of these guys are, Stanley from Mill Valley are dual threat guys, and so they may find their way, maybe not as a kicker, but as a punter on this team.
Right. And the thing about the punters, I would say in the Metro is you kind of got two schools of thought with the punters. We've got a really good kicker who can also punt, or we've got a quarterback who we can line up, see how things go, and then they can kick it. But these guys, I think these four kind of stand out compared to a lot of the other, numbers you see across the Metro, as far as punting. And it's as much of a weapon as the kicking is anymore.
Yes, I would agree with that. I mean, I think if you've got a punter who can do some things, because these return guys, and we'll just go right into them next, you don't want to give up that punt return. Even if the thing about punting is, if you don't have a punter who can get it down there 40 yards, at least with some hang time to get your coverage down there, or directionally kick, or kick it out of bounds so their guy can't get it. If they're only kicking 30 yards and it's a line drive and you're handing that ball, they're 15 yards up the field before your coverage guys even get there.
Yeah, agreed. And looking at some of these returners, guys like, Charles Ross of St. Pius has been a weapon. He was on the All-State team last year. Angelo Cuo, I think I'm saying his name right, from Blue Valley Southwest. Watching some of the stuff he's done this year is just, being able to really flip the field for them has been a big weapon, I think.
Peyton Hatfield from Lee Summit, he does a great job in the return game and as a receiver. And then Cameron Fields, I had him listed he's a sophomore. He's returned 3, I think, already this year. I mean, he did 2 in one game, and he's had a 99-yard return as well. So I mean, those guys are guys that make impacts, and if you've got a weapon like that, and we don't even have an Isaiah Mosey on here, maybe the best returner, because he's been nicked up and hasn't played some games, and so they're not putting him back there to return stuff because they don't want to get any more hurt.
Well, and what I would say is take this list of returners, also take our Elite 11 or our Elite list of wide receivers and add those to the returner list probably too.
Yeah. See who those guys are. And then finally, long snappers. We got a couple guys we want to talk about. Austin Cornett from Blue Valley, and then Bryce Aldridge, the quarterback from Park Hill South, is their long snapper, and he's very highly rated. And so along with the Blue Valley kid.
Right. So both of these guys are incredibly highly rated as long snappers. Aldridge is that he's, I don't know what his future plans are, but he's a quarterback and a long snapper, which normally the quarterback's maybe the holder. And then Cornett's the starting linebacker for Blue Valley, I believe. So these are two guys who, to me, this is really what makes them elite. Long snapping is a tough enough skill to begin with, but when you're able to do that, plus contribute as a quarterback or a linebacker for these teams, that really, really makes you stand out, I think.
Well, Blue Valley, their other linebacker, McGuire Richmond, is their kicker. Right. He's a really good, and we don't have him on this list, but he's also a really good kicker as well. But no, it's a fun group to talk about. Next time around, we're going to kind of double back and maybe talk more about quarterback. We'll start back at the beginning and kind of wield some lists down as we get towards the end of the regular season here next week. But it's fun. And Cole, this was your week. We may be bringing double and triple here before long as we go further down. But this has been fun. We've got all through all the position groups, and now we kind of go back and refine.
Yeah, good time.